welcome to Long's Toys. Today we're taking a look at the Super Minipla for Jet Garuda from Choujin Sentai Jetman. Very cool. This was a premium Bandai exclusive set, came out quite a bit ago. I have a little bit of a backlog I'm working through. But very excited to finally get to this one. I have already reviewed Jet Icarus, which was a great set, and these guys can combine. As you can see, Jet Icarus and Jet Garuda can form Great Icarus, which looks really cool. And then you have Jet Garuda here in robot mode, and then it's called Bird Garuda in the bird/vehicle mode. And then over here on the side, you can also see that they go together in the vehicle modes. You have Icarus Falcon and Bird Garuda, and they become Hyper Falcon, which is pretty cool. So all in all, looks like a great set. Artwork on the box is very cool. Loving that. So I'm going to go ahead, get this all put together and stickered up, and then we will take a closer look. Alright, so here's Jet Garuda all put together and stickered up out of the packaging. He looks great. I think he looks really good. They did a nice job with this. It was a fun build. Really nice and pretty easy to put together. There's a decent amount of stickers, but the nice thing about with Super Minipla, and I don't know if it's just a coincidence or what, but I feel like with Super Minipla, it's always nice, flat, smooth surfaces that I'm applying stickers to, so I really don't mind. It's not a huge problem. With regular Minipla, there's always like all these nooks and crevices you have to get the sticker down into, and it doesn't work. Super Minipla is always very nice and clean, and the stickers just work. Maybe it's a higher quality sticker, I don't know. In any case, looks good. Bird mode looks very cool. It's a pretty huge model, though, I gotta be honest. For size comparison, here is Icarus Falcon, I think this form is called. So you can see he's quite a bit tinier. If you kind of put this next to him. I mean, let's see, what if we do, not counting wingspan. Let me tilt this up. Yeah, I would say he's still quite a bit bigger. And we'll come back to this guy in a minute, but very, very cool. I like it a lot. I think the colors work really well. You can open up the mouth. I swear you can. He really does not want to cooperate with me. There we go. So you can open up the mouth, and he has a little gun inside, which is kind of neat. It's very tiny. But this is a sticker right here. This yellow and white is one sticker. All of this on the side here is paint. The red is actually a separate piece for the eye. These are separate black pieces. They have you put a white sticker under here. This is a gold piece. The rest of this, just this red here, is a sticker. All of this red is inlaid plastic, which is nice. Zoom back out. Some stickers here on the belt. These are different pieces. The yellow here is different pieces. So they use a lot of different colored plastic to get a lot of the details across. But then they have a couple stickers, which, again, very easy to apply, not really a problem whatsoever. So very, very cool. He does have this cool thing where you can actually unhook this gray piece here on what will eventually be the arms in robot mode. You kind of wiggle it out and it unhooks, and then there's a little hinge right here so that if you want to put the talons down and open them up like so, and I'll do the same on the other one, you can see there's a little hinge right here. So that just comes down like this, and then you can open up the talons and kind of have them stand like that. I mean, it's not really standing. It doesn't really give him a lot of mobility. But if you want to pretend he's kind of flying around and you can grab stuff, I think that's kind of cool. So I like that little feature. But now we'll go ahead. Let's check out the combination with Icarus Falcon. Alright, so to get Bird Garuda ready for the combination, you can see I've put the arms back the way that they were. The next thing you're going to do, you need to unhook the head. Let me zoom out here. It'll be easier if I zoom out. So this whole head apparatus is on this black plastic here, and that's the part that you need to unhook. And it's a little bit easier said than done, I'll be quite honest. I'm trying to figure out the best way to kind of grab a hold of this to unhook it. Maybe from the sides here. There we go. And I'll show you in a second. It's two little tabs. Two little pegs, I should say. So I want to be careful, but I don't want to break anything, obviously. You can see it's a little tab, little peg right there, little peg right there. So that's what that just pegs into. So you want to lift that up, and then you want to come around to this side, and you can see these white pieces right here. You're actually going to unpeg these as well, and these will slip up like this, and then this whole back piece will actually come off, like so. So you're going to put the arms back how they were. We're going to take this piece here. You can see that there's a piece underneath here that was just kind of stored in there. We're going to pop that off. We're going to swivel this around, and then these two pegs on the top are going to peg into these two spots up here. So we're going to peg that in. There we go. This part here is going to lift up and back and then sit down like this. And then they want you to turn the Garuda bird head. I guess you probably want to lift this up and turn this all the way before you set this down. So it doesn't really peg into place, it just kind of sits there, but that's still fine. And then you're going to take these two pegs and you're going to peg them down in here. So I don't know if you can see that very well. There you go, right there. These two spots right here. So we're going to peg that in there. And this, you can see this white piece that I'm pegging in. It's really just kind of an intermediary piece. I swear I can talk. Just to kind of facilitate this combination here. So then I believe we're going to want to put, yeah, we want to put these pieces back on. Otherwise it's going to be a floppy mess. So put this back in here and peg that in. And do the same on the other side. There we go. And then we're just going to bring Icarus Falcon in here, and you got two spots right here. They're just going to peg right onto the front here. And there you go. You have, in this form, Hyper Falcon. Pretty cool. Luckily you have the bottom part here to kind of facilitate some of the weight. Otherwise this thing would just be hanging off the front. But I think it's cool. It's definitely kind of like a giant, not warship, but just kind of a giant ship in general. For some reason I feel like I want to fold the wings back. And this is purely just my aesthetic. I don't know why. I just feel like if this one doesn't really need wings, I feel like in this mode you could just kind of like go faster if they tucked the wings in. But again, it's just my aesthetic. The directions have you leave the wings out. But it's definitely a cool look. I like it. I think these two look really cool combined together like this. Alright, so next up we're going to check out the transformation for Bird Garuda to go into Jet Garuda. So very simply, let's see, where should I start? I guess we'll start down here with the legs. You're going to fold these, let's see, first you have to flip these around like this. And then I believe you're going to want to rotate them 180 degrees. So spin this around like so. And rotate this like this. You're going to unhook these. You'll see that these little sections here unpeg and lift up. And what that does is they stop these from sliding up and down with these little pieces here. So you have to pull them out and unpeg them so that you can pull the legs down. You can also split them apart from each other. So those will click down. And they should make an audible click sound when they're all the way down. Then you can peg these back in to keep them in place. And you can see the leg here is kind of falling off on me, so I'm just going to push that back in. There we go. Okay, at this point, we're going to fold the legs down, face them like this, and then we're going to spin 180 degrees at that thigh swivel that keeps falling off on mine. So swivel that around, and there you see you have your legs. So I'm going to pan up a smidge and zoom out. Next, you're going to, and sometimes I find it a little bit easier to kind of take the arm off and then kind of pull it. I don't know why, just because of the way it's connected, it's a little cumbersome, but You see you have a nice elbow joint there, so you're going to want to put that to the side and then peg this back on. I'm just going to do the same thing over here. For some reason, this one sticks on mine. I really don't know why, and sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to break it. I don't really know why it sticks. But it really makes me nervous because I really don't want to break the connection. This is like a T-joint. You can see it's already kind of coming apart in there. All right, I'm going to wiggle this and I'll be back in a second. All right, so the nice thing is with this being a model, I was able to take it apart and kind of see what was going on. I don't know if I had something misaligned or whatever, but it really wasn't working. You can see it's a lot better now. And I'm really afraid because inside here you can see it's just this tiny little circle, and that's what's keeping when I spin the arm. So I really don't want to tug on that too much because if that breaks, then I'm out of luck. So I guess if you're having similar trouble, just be very careful. But you can see once you pull it out, it should have a nice elbow joint there. So now I can kind of pop it in and out without too much trouble. So just have to be careful with that. Turn the arm, or the hand rather. Peg that back on. Kind of wing these out to the side a little bit. And then we flip the head. Come down here. Put the wings down. Fold these up. Let me zoom out here. And then you'll see there's two pegs here, two peg holes. So you just flip this right up. And that just pegs in. And there you go. There is Jet Garuda. I think he looks great. Really nicely done. I love all the little gold pieces they put on here. The shoulders, the kneecaps, the toes. Really, really nice. The head can actually swivel side to side, which I think is a really nice touch. It's just kind of a circle in a track right there, so I can kind of spin like that. You do have a shoulder in and out like this. You also have the spin here. You have the bicep, as you saw, that swivels. You have the elbow. The hands can swivel and open and close because they're also the talons. You can move let me move this wing, but you can move the torso like this. You do have a kind of standard hip out to the side, front to back, thighs swivel. You do have knees, which I think is pretty cool. And then you have pretty standard ankle as far as side to side. You can tilt it a little bit. So really nice articulation on this. Looks really sharp. I really like the look of it. Really, really very cool. I think the robot looks absolutely fantastic. But we're still not done. We do have the combination with Icarus, Jet Icarus. So we'll go ahead and check that out next. Alright, so it's time for the combination of these two, but I gotta say right off the bat, I think it's hilarious how much taller Jet Garuda is than Jet Icarus. I mean, they both look fantastic. I still really, really like Jet Icarus, but I just think the size comparison is kind of hilarious. I'm gonna put him off to the side for the moment, and we're going to pretty much deconstruct this guy. I'm gonna go ahead and take the arms off. I'm going to lift this up, which again is a little difficult, but I feel like I can get my fingers in there now. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and take these off again. Put that off to the side, and then we're going to take the legs off at the thigh, which they seem to want to do anyway. You can always lift these up if you want. Move these around. So there are all the pieces of Jet Garuda now taken apart. You're going to take the legs, you're going to flip these up, you're going to push this back in, and then you're actually going to flip this around like that. So do the same with the other one. Flip that up, push that down, and flip that around. I kind of wish that they had like a peg here so that it pegged into that peg hole, but unfortunately it doesn't. Shouldn't be too big of a problem, but here are your shorty legs, so we'll put them back here. So next up, we have to basically take apart Jet Icarus as well. You're going to take the legs off here. And once again, this crotch piece always comes off for Jet Icarus, so I just pull it off. Pop this back into here. And then take the arms off as well. Alright, so we're going to have to take the legs and transform them basically the same way you would transform them into like the Falcon mode, the combined vehicle mode. So you're going to lift these open. You're going to push the leg down. You're going to close this up. You got to take this little piece out of the bottom. You got to fold this around and then peg this down into this piece. There we go. And then you're going to come back and peg this in here. I guess you have to open this up a little bit so you can get this down, and there's like a little channel that it slides into. It is not wanting to cooperate, so fine. Oh, come on. There we go. Now we can peg this in, and of course that popped out. Alright, hopefully the other leg should go a little bit easier. Open these up, push that down, close that up, take this out, swivel this around. Remember to put this in before you push it together, thus making it much easier. It really does like to try to pop out all the time though, it's kind of a pain. There we go. So now the two legs for Jet Icarus are set up. So we will put them off to the side. Alright, so now we should have most of the components ready to go. Just have to assemble it. We have the two torsos here. Going to take the Jet Garuda torso. And you can actually pull this apart ever so slightly. And what that's going to do is that's going to reveal a little peg on the back. Or a peg hole rather, which we're going to need. And it's going to make it wide enough that this can actually drop down like so and peg in. And the nice thing is they have these two little gold pieces on Jet Garuda that line up perfectly with the torso of Icarus, so that just flows and looks beautiful. I love that. So now that that's all connected like that, I'm going to take our Jet Garuda legs and we're going to take the Icarus legs and we're going to peg them on like so. Take the other one, peg this on, and then we're going to peg these onto the torso like so, very simply. So now I will pop this up a little bit. For the arms, you're going to take the arm of Jet Garuda, you're going to pop this open. You're going to take one of the arms of Jet Icarus, and you're going to see the little peg hole right there. That's going to peg in right there. And then that's going to fold up. And then you extend the shoulder piece out just to give it a little bit more. And pop that on there. Now he is going to have multiple elbows, which is kind of weird. But I guess we're just going to have to go with it. I guess we would probably... See, I don't know. Neither one is really in the center. Well, we'll see how it goes. We're going to take the other arm, extend that piece out, flip this down. This pegs into here, and then fold this up, peg that onto the arm like so. Then we're going to come around to the back, and I'm going to lift the camera up a little bit more. The final piece is the old back piece of Jet Garuda. If you have this piece on there still, you just have to take this off, and that's just going to sit off to the side. But there's a peg right here, and that peg hole that we revealed when we pulled those apart. So line that up and peg that in. There we go. And then this piece up top is going to drop down. Just make sure it's lined up. And you have the Falcon head tilted all the way back. You can see there's two pegs back here in the back. So you want to make sure that lines up and then push it down. And then there you go. There is the combined Great Icarus, which I think looks really cool. I'm going to shift the camera around so I can get a little bit taller. So I really like the look of this a lot. I mean, this is, I would say, probably about 10 inches tall. Probably as tall as any other Megazord, any DX Megazord that you would buy. It's got a lot of great articulation. Now the head should still be able to spin, but you want to be careful because the Icarus head isn't going to spin, so it's going to spin around it, as you can kind of see there. But then you have the shoulders can still go in and out, spin here. You have that swivel, you have this elbow, you have this swivel. You have both elbows there from both Icarus and Garuda. The hands still the same. I would say your hips are still going to be the same. This is just going to swivel down here. Technically, you're going to have these knee joints from that piece that you had like that. You'll still have the same ankle tilts. So it's a lot of the same articulation that carries over from the individual robots, but still looks really, really cool. And I love the chest and the head. I think they did such a good job with that. It just looks beautiful. The helmet looks really, really cool with the helmet over top of the existing head. I think they nailed that. The crest and everything, all the stickers. It's a really nice combination. I'm really, really happy with it. I'm really glad I decided to pick up both of these sets because I'll probably never own the original DX toys for Jet Icarus and Jet Garuda because at this point they're just crazy expensive. You know, they're over 20 years old, almost probably 30 years old at this point almost. So it's just something that's never going to happen. But now that I have this Minipla, Super Minipla set, it's just as good in my opinion. Obviously, I might say that it's better because they're going to have better articulation. They're going to be a little bit more solid, less fragile. You saw earlier when I had the little problem with the Garuda arm, I was able to just take it apart because it's a model and figure out what was wrong and put it back together. So with a DX toy that old that would be that expensive, I would be a lot more afraid to handle it or transform it back and forth. But with this, I feel like it's just as good. You can have a lot of fun transforming it back and forth to the different configurations. And I'm really pleased with it. I love this combination. I think it looks great. So overall, I really like this set. This was Premium Bandai, so if you're going to try and track one down at this point, I think your best bet's going to be Yahoo Japan Auctions, Mandarake, something like that. But if you can, I definitely recommend picking it up, especially if you already have Jet Icarus. You're definitely going to want both of these. They're both great on their own, but they're awesome to combine together in both the vehicle and the robot mode. Like I said, I've been a huge fan of these Super Mini Plus sets ever since I first got I think the first one I ever got was Live Robo, but ever since then I've been a huge fan of these. They always do such a great job with the articulation, the detail. They do have stickers, but they're not too difficult to apply and they stay on pretty well. So if you like building model kits and you love Sentai Mecha, then these things are a slam dunk. I definitely recommend picking them up. Jet Garuda has been absolutely fantastic, especially for someone like me who doesn't really know Jetman at all because I've never seen it. Both of the robots are really cool, so I'm excited to eventually watch it, and I'll already have both the robots here in Minipla form. So, especially, like I said, for someone who's probably never going to be able to own the deluxe toys because they're too old and expensive at this point, this is a perfectly viable alternative. Excellent toys, fun to put together, and really fun to transform back and forth. So that's going to do it for this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.